ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknex.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
All right, I think I got through them. I think I got through them all. Let's see. All right, in the news, there's some news. There'll be some news. Go a little bit. This one. That's too saucy. At least it's more mellow. It's Thursday, cloudy. Trump got on a call with China that achieved nothing. All it achieved is more meetings. The market went down in anticipation of the outcome, and the outcome was that there's no outcome. And so now the market is just down. What are you gonna do, right? C'est la vie. Earlier. Any new news? Well, other than Trump calling out Jerome Powell again. Old too late Powell. Powell that has no actual data. There's no data they can point to other than jobs numbers that were awful and ISM service data that's the worst it's been since 2006 or something, just awful. They basically never had an ISM number like this when it wasn't a recession. So, but still no data, nothing that Jerome Powell could really work off of at the FOMC. Just no data. They hear all the sentiment surveys and all the people talking, but there's just no data. There's just no information behind it. It's just people talking with their words and stuff. Anyway, Circle did their IPO this morning, $31. Thank you very much. And then I think the CFO, who was going to sell, a small amount of his shares, sold a lot of them. He ended up selling, I think he was going to sell 200,000 shares. And he ended up selling like 3/4 of his entire stash. So over, I think 1 million or more. Yeah, it must have been more. Because I think he pocketed 37 million on the deal. So that shows you how much belief he has in the profit potential of a stable coin, because he sold 3/4 of his equity. Kind of lets you know. Well, and it makes sense, right? Like, you can buy Bitcoin on Coinbase, or you can buy Bitcoin ETFs anywhere, right? iBit or whatever, whichever your preferred Bitcoin ETF is. Okay, which has more people involved than just buying Bitcoin. If you buy Bitcoin directly, you own Bitcoin. If you indirectly purchase it, then you purchase an ETF. Or you can invest in any of these companies like the coffee company yesterday, or an online gambling company, or any of these other kind of weird companies that have decided to have Bitcoin treasuries, like Strategy, which that's also an online gambling company. And then you have a bunch of people involved, and you have a whole other business with a bunch of other priorities that have all failed. So when a company says, I'm going to be a Bitcoin treasury, it means we fucking failed. We suck. We don't know what we're doing. We have no fucking clue how to run a business. So we're going to keep all these employees, keep them fed, keep paying them checks, but we're just going to take more money from you guys, you idiots that buy our shares, and we're going to just buy Bitcoin. That's not much different from what a stablecoin company is. You're going to buy shares in a company that's going to do what? Go entice people to put dollars in so they can buy treasuries and make 4.5% a year. And what are you buying into? Are you buying into that 4.5%? Someone's got to pay those people that work there. Someone's got to cover that infrastructure. So like, it seems a little confusing to me where all the money comes from. So, and again, Circle is like the best in class of these. And still, it's an indirect way to own what? U.S. treasuries? That's what you're doing. I don't know, man. It just seems seems sloppy as shit. Too many cooks in the kitchen. So anyway, but good. They had their IPO. A lot of people got to cash out. That's what you want if you've been investing in a company for a while. You want some kind of exit. You can't be in it forever, right? You're not going to be here forever. So anyway, I mean, I'm going to be here forever, but you're not. Anyway, good for Circle. They had their IPO. They came out at $31. They raised, I think, right 1.09 billion. So just shy of 1.1 billion. It's pretty good. Their valuation is high, is over 7.2 billion is their valuation now. That's good for them. Gives them some firepower. Kitty! Got one yelling in the background. That means she's snitching. She's snitching on Loki. That means Loki just marked something. Either broke something, but I didn't hear anything, or he peed on something, which is more likely. Because he just ate a bunch of chicken and then ran off real fast. Yeah, he's marking up stuff. All right. JP Morgan, as it turns out, is going to allow BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF shares to count as collateral against loans. Isn't that interesting? So here, let me put here we go, get those comments on screen. Let's see. Circle price too high. None of my orders will fill. Well, no, your orders were too low, Bitcoin. That's on you, buddy. They weren't priced too high. If people bought it, they were priced exactly correctly. They were appropriately priced. Ergo, the IPO was a success. Let's see. Data-driven delusion, that's for sure. LA tour. Yeah, I mean, Hollywood's taking a kick in the nuts. They went woke, and then they went on strike, and then they went on strike again, and then they stayed woke, and then it's like the cherry on top. They finally get back to work, and then you have, stuff like Snow White and all this shit, and you have these like wokeopaths, like woke psychopaths that get angry and fucking melt down whenever they're questioned about their like kind of overbearing DEI, kind of directional attitudes in these films. Like, you can't recast a movie about, Hitler diverse. Hitler can't be a short, fat, shaved-headed, red mohawked, angry lesbian. even though he did look like that. But you can't cast it that way and then tell everybody, like, what's wrong? Like, you guys are intolerant. You're like, come on, man. God damn. And so Hollywood kind of shit the bed in a lot of ways. And so now it's like coming home to roost. This is the payback, right? Like, you want to pull all that crap for so many years. You want to basically shit all over the people that pay your bills. That's why it's so funny when you see these actors and stuff, and they're so arrogant, or they're out like, like I like De Niro as an actor, but when he's out there giving political advice and things like that, you're just like, no, man, shut up. Shut the fuck up. All you guys shut up. No one here goes to see you at the movie because we want your political advice. No one gives a shit what you think about politics. We just want to see you act. So be an actor, be a monkey, jump around on screen, and otherwise sign 1 million fucking autographs because that's your job, or stay silent and just disappear. But, Hollywood had this coming. LA had this coming. They kind of did to themselves. It's nice, though. You can get out on the highways now. Haul ass. No, because all the people that rent our stuff are rich people that live in LA. And guess what? Turns out rich people are still rich. It's crazy. I know it's crazy, but yeah, rich people are still rich. That has not changed. So let's see. Does this apply to the companies that are starting XRP treasury strategies? Oh God, companies that are starting XRP treasury strategies are just ridiculous. Like, really think about that. What kind of group of fucking morons do you have to have in charge of a company that look at the crypto landscape and think XRP is the answer? You have to be beyond insane. It makes zero sense. Like, oh man, it's so ridiculous. That's like, there's a company doing a Litecoin treasury. Why? For the 6 people that use Litecoin? Like, these are just really weird, desperate attempts by these companies to, to engage some weird little demographic. Like, what are they thinking? But the XRP treasury they're still in court. They're still in federal court. They don't have their shit settled yet. Why on earth would you start dealing with this company? When senators and congressmen basically do an open hand, they fucking give Brad Garlinghouse the Heisman, like close their door right in his face, like, oh, I'm not here. Click. Like, what do you mean you're not here? You just close the door. Shh. Like, you gotta wonder what those people, what's going on in that boardroom, that would ever be a consideration. And there's not one person in there that went and just slapped the shit out of every single person that was in agreement and said, you guys got to wake up. You guys are a bunch of dummies. But no, apparently that voice didn't appear inside those boardrooms. And you have these jackwagon companies. There's, there's one that just a couple that are doing Solana treasuries. I don't know, man. That seems very risky. It's becoming where the treasuries are a form of gambling. Because Michael Saylor is the best example, and he's a degenerate gamble, tax cheat creep. Like, running a Ponzi scheme. And that's the best in class. And it just gets crappier from there. I don't know, man. Let's see, Chris, why do we have stable coins? No, stable coins are valuable. Stable coins are a good way to think of it as just electrifying the dollar, right? Stable coins are a better iteration, likely, of credit cards, right? You should be able to move money as fast as a text. And stable coin dollars allow you to do that. Crypto dollars allow you to do that. But what okay, so you got to switch this up in your mind. When you say trade with non-stable coins, what do you mean? Like for regular people that might have $10,000 in their bank, what would be their alternative for going to stores or shopping while on vacation, or just any of the things that you do if you wanted to do them in real time and have real control over your money, not have a mediator or a middleman or a bunch of middlemen. Think about, you have a bank account, you have money in your bank account, you don't actually have anything. You have a call against, you have a marker at the bank, right? They owe you, you have a big fat IOU, but if that bank closes, you don't have anything. You have nothing, fucking zero. And if they freeze your account because they think you're a crook, or that you made someone mad that day, some fat dude that's decided his name is now Karina, and he also has a pink mohawk, him and Hitler. Pink mohawk, angry. He's angry. He's decided he's an angry lesbian. Right? Even though his name is Richard. So that angry lesbian, you get into it with him, guess what? He tells his bank manager, hey, something with this guy. I don't know. I don't like it. So they freeze your shit. And for 30 days, you go to war trying to get your money out while your car note goes unpaid, your house goes unpaid, your insurance goes unpaid, child's care, food, go down the list of things. They can do it, man. They can shut your shit down. So stable coins basically take that whole entity out of the picture, that whole middleman entity out of the picture. So I think there's value in that, right? There's value in, well, and obviously, look, there's a whole giant euro dollar market. These dollar-denominated loans lended into existence by banks that were having trouble getting dollar liquidity. What do you think happens when these governments like Japan and China and like in the UK and stuff, when these governments start selling treasuries, everybody's like, oh, they're giving up on treasuries. It's because of the U.S. debt. Bullshit. Has nothing to do with that. They need dollars. They need dollars for international commerce. And when you need dollars and you're sitting on treasuries and there's a squeeze in liquidity, what do? You sell your treasuries, or you post them in repo and borrow and get cash against them. So, stable coins make sense. Then you have to say, okay, well, what would come along with that? And it's the things that come along with it that might be in certain scenarios a little bit irksome. But I'd rather have someone looking. You don't think the banks are looking at your behavior, and you don't think that they're running all sorts of algorithms that look at your behavior and try to decide what you're doing? They certainly do. So, yeah, we do need stable coins. Stable coins might be, at least right now, the best use case for crypto. Other than like hold and hope, right? But that's not really a thing. Let's see. Let's say yesterday we said the DI options link was on the homepage, but I'm not seeing. Was it pulled down? I don't know. I don't think the DI options link was pulled down. Let's see. We can scroll around. Let's do some scrolling. Maybe he's working on it. Maybe he's working on the buttons or something. Maybe he's working on some buttons. Let's see. Shop. Let's go shopping. No products. Oh, no, that's it. Yeah. I'm sure he may be working on it. I mean, he's probably working on it. He works on things. Yeah. Okay. Why listen to someone who gets paid to pretend to be someone? Exactly. All right. Let me see. I want to make sure that, like, when we're doing these Tuesday, Thursday things, we can get some questions. Okay, follow. Aren't stable coins supposed to be backed by? Yes, they absolutely are. And in the case of Circle, they are backed by dollars or dollar equivalents. That is true. It is not true with Tether. And it is not. There's another one it's not true with. Well, there's probably a bunch that it's not true with, because there's you don't know till after the fact, do you? They basically print up a bunch of tokens and then they set them free, and hopefully people trade things that can be turned into dollar equivalents so they can come back into your treasury print first, cover it later, kind of like the bank, print first. Kind of like the America governments, print first, tax later. Print first, tax later. Collect taxes to make up for what you printed. What do you mean backed by whose dollar? What do you mean, Howard? What do you mean? There's a question in there, and it's a good one, but I'm not sure how to tackle it because I don't know exactly what you're asking. But typically how it works is so you have the all of the bank accounts of the stable coin issuer, and those accounts, I'm sure there's many, but then their portfolio is going to contain some cash. It's going to contain some short-term on-the-run treasuries and maybe some stuff a little further out, but you don't want to go too far out because you don't want to have a maturity mismatch and have a run on the token. People are trying to get back to dollars as quick as possible. There's a run, but then they're trying to get out, trying to get to US dollars rather than stable dollars. And in that process, you're not giving back enough dollars. And then you have a maturity mismatch where you have stuff that you have stuff further out on the yield curve. And you're like, well, we can't unwind this. If we unwind this now, we're unwinding it at a loss, right? So you unwind it at a loss because of the duration mismatch, and pretty soon you look like a bank. You just get whacked. So the idea is to have short-term on-the-run treasuries or cash equivalents that can be liquidated to cash instantaneously. That's how you run a stable coin. At least that's how you're supposed to run a stable coin. You have to be able to convert back to dollars instantly. And if you cannot, you don't have a stable coin. You have a counterfeiting machine, like every single government on earth. And let's see. Follow up to the follow. Can't stable coins get nuked faster than the dollar? Well, yes, there's less liquidity in them for now, but you could see a scenario, after the Genius Act, and I'm not making fun of it. It's called the Genius Act. After the Genius Act gets through the last couple of hurdles, I think it's gonna be voted on here pretty soon. Then you have a legal framework by which companies can launch stable coins, and that's going to create a kind of a gold rush. That's another thing too. It's by Circle having a really good IPO and people being excited about it. BlackRock is basically going to own about 10% of those assets. They already handle a lot of their custody and stuff anyway. So there's going to be the gold rush is going to be companies running in, this whole treasury thing with Bitcoin and to an extent some Ethereum and some wackos that use other assets, but they're wackos. I'm not even super comfortable with an Ethereum treasury, but they're starting to do it. I'm pretty comfortable with adding Bitcoin into a treasury, but Bitcoin shouldn't be the only asset in the treasury. I think that's a little wacky also. But once this framework exists and companies can launch stable coins, a lot of people are going to come out swinging. And there's going to be a lot of stable dollars floating around, which is good for dollar hegemony. It's good for the treasury market. It's good for the U.S. being able to sell more debt. It's not good for us indirectly, it's kind of a perversion. It's not good for us as people that hold U.S. dollars. If your dollars aren't making any money, you're going to get your ass kicked, because debt service on top of debt service on top of ever increasing debt that's unsustainable, and yet we will continue this unsustainable path. Predictably, what is it? They want you to be. It's predictably unsustainable, and we will continue with it. Predictably unsustainable. So, and consistent. It's consistently and predictably unsustainable, and we will not stop doing it. So people that hold dollars and aren't doing anything with them are going to get destroyed through debasement. There's no way around that. It's not magic. It's math. No one likes to hear that. That was a t-shirt. My friend, Nara, you guys know Nara. She sent me a picture of it. It says, it's not magic. It's math. Yeah, man. So it's like sometimes when you explain math to people, they're like, whoa, they get all googly eyed. Like, buddy, I didn't just show you a fucking glimmering pastel garden gnome that grants wishes. That's just algebra. That's how algebra works. That's how a compounding interest calculation works, bro. Anyway, yeah. Let's see. Side note, Kurt says insurance is scam. Yes, insurance is a scam. You replaced my roof a few months ago. I had to tell some insurance company that paid for the work about it to get my policy adjusted, cut my cost in half. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, look, if we want to be honest, the whole roofing industry is a scam. You guys know this, right? Like, it's a bunch. You look, man, in Texas, it was always anytime you had a buddy who was a roofer, you knew he was like borderline going to jail, right? Like those guys get up on the roof with a ball peen hammer, take some photographs. Oh, you need a new roof because of hail. What hail? Oh, last week there's some hail. Where? All over. It was all over hail. These dudes just wait until there's hail. Anytime any news service in Texas says there's hail, freaking dudes, the roofers descend in. You want a new roof? Hey, bro, you want a new roof? Like, I got a new roof last year. That's last year's roof. Yeah, but they said it would last 30 years. Nah, man. That lasts a year. You need this year's roof. With our special roofing scenarios, our roofing, I'm sure they have all sorts of clever ways they sell that stupid shit. Anyway, you need a new roof now for the next 30 years. Like, I don't understand. I didn't hear any hail. Buddy, you had it. What you have is hail amnesia. You have a kind of hail amnesia is what you got. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. I guess I do. Yeah. Yeah, honey, we do need a new roof. This is ridiculous. We shouldn't be forced to live in these conditions with these old normal roofs that are only a year old. They're disgusting, wretched roofs. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same shit. It's such a scam industry. I even had one of my buddies scam me. Like, he was like, and we did need a new roof. There was like a 2x4 coming through it. Like, and it had nothing to do with hail. It was just an old crappy roof and a thing. And I was like, okay, how much for that? Da-da-da. He's like, it ended up costing me $20,000. I found out later that the insurance company paid for everything. And this motherfucker it's a friend of mine, pocketed like almost $20,000. And then when I called him, he goes, oh man, I'll give you some money back. I'm like, here's what you can do. Cease to exist in my life. If I see you ever again, I will cut you. I didn't say cut. I probably said I will murder him, but whatever, something like that. Anyway, yeah, that was my old piece of shit friend, Eddie. I can say that because Eddie doesn't care about the future. Eddie cares about the right now. Eddie probably in prison. Because anyway, he was doing some shenaniganery in the roofing business. So I'm sure he ended up in jail. Anyway, this is what it is. So what? Kennel Roof Insurance that paid us $22,000. Yeah, isn't that? Oh man. So when you think about insurance is a scam, yes, insurance, but part of the reason insurance is so expensive is because there's so many of these scams floating around. It's just, oh man. God. It is what it is. That's why you keep your cars garaged and you don't have to mess with it. It's not so easy. Well, again, in Texas, it's very murky. But anyway, not to get off on a whole thing, but as option sellers, we are insurance salesmen. You know what we're going to do today? By the way, I want to talk about two things. I do want to talk about BlackRock using ETF shares as loan collateral. I want to talk about the supply shock that I think is coming to Bitcoin, and then we're going to go behind the wall for about 20 minutes, and we're going to just do Q&A focused on options contracts, just for the digital investors and digital private clients. It's come to our attention that not everybody is in on the options stuff. Not everybody wants to hear about it, and that's fine. You don't have to. But for those of you that do, we'll go behind the wall, and you guys can ask more specific questions, and we'll just focus on options. We'll call it Options Corner. Thursday, Options Corner. The corner option, we're going to workshop that. All right. Yeah. Okay. So let's real quick. Let me button this up with our buddy Jamie Dimon. Sources told Bloomberg that J.P. Morgan Chase will begin taking crypto holdings into account when assessing a client's net worth and liquid assets. Meaning, you got Bitcoin in the form of an ETF, okay? Or if you have Bitcoin, period, Bitcoin, they will count it as collateral, bro. They will count it as collateral. Is that not badass? Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll get into that, but the multiplier thing doesn't matter. What you're looking for is, at least in my mind, is you want to trade in a market that you understand, that you're willing to be put into, that you'd be okay with. And if that's the case, there is no downside. There's no, if you're okay holding the underlying asset, there is no downside ever. There's no bad outcome. You might not make as much money as you thought. Like today's been a wacky day. Like I've been up and down. Let me see what I'm up. Up. Let's see. Earlier, I was up. Okay, so it's just all, this thing's just all wacky. It's just all over the place. I was up, I was down, I was sideways. Yeah, it's everywhere. Anyway, but it's still a positive outcome. So you're saying 132 ETH A to ETH. Yeah, I just don't think that multiplier matters. I kind of what I do is I just go, where's the premium? Where's the biggest chunk of premium at? And then how do you mine that? All right. Anyway, for those of you, because I'm with Chase still. Who here is with Chase? You don't have to answer that. Anyway, JP Morgan will let clients use crypto as collateral for loans. Now, who knows what those rates will be, but I'm going to go find out. Not because I'm going to do it, because I would never let a bank have my shit. I'd rather do it through DeFi. But this is pretty cool because, like, the bank, let's say I wanted to refinance my loan, I could go to the bank and say, hey, look, I've got these Bitcoins right here. I got these Bitcoins, and they would look at that and go, well, that could be considered quality collateral for a loan. And remember, on a loan, ain't no income tax, right? You're in debt to yourself. So for a lot of people, if your loan to value is at or beyond the point what your tax burden would be, then take all of it. Like literally take all of it. Now, I would make sure you're doing something with it. Don't just take it, but take it. Right? Anyway, this is, and by the way, this is the world's biggest bank. That's why we call them banksters. So JP Morgan, well, they have a very weird history with the Bitcoins because Demon's been saying that Bitcoin is garbage forever. That's fine. He said it was stupid. He said we were idiots. He said we were dummies. And guess what? They also said this week that they're going to allow customers to start trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. Even though, in Jamie Dimon's words, Bitcoin is a pet rock used for criminals. Right. Which is weird. So I guess now the criminals at JP Morgan Chase are letting us trade pet rocks and using those pet rocks as collateral for loans. My, how times changed. Oh, yeah, I know. Every time I go to Chase Bank, those ones. Oh, well, there's a branch that the people are really cool. I mean, the people at the bank are super cool. The people in the background are super douchey. That's the tightrope you walk with Chase. Anyway, this is pretty cool. You're going to see Bank of America already said they're going to go heavy. Morgan Stanley and not as much. Charles Schwab is coming out with some products this time next year. That's going to be pretty interesting. So banks are coming. And if the banks are coming and they're going to allow their clients to get crypto exposure, it's just part of that kind of massive onboarding, which dovetails into our next story. So it looks like Bitcoin, the corn, is going to go through a supply shock again. And we've been kind of talking about this, but it looks like the percentage of Bitcoin on exchanges is nearing 2018 levels. That was right after the big run in 2017, right? In 2017. So institutional demand and more holding by buyers of Bitcoin are pushing the percentage of Bitcoin on exchanges to the lowest levels, since 2018, signaling a potential supply shock. So that's kind of interesting. The percentage on exchanges has dropped below 11% for the first time since 2011. Since 2018. Institutional adoption is accelerating with BTC withdrawals from public exchanges. A lot of that is ETF action, because remember, ETF purchases create a scenario where the ETF then has to go. Well, the managers of the ETF have to go buy Bitcoin, and they have to go warehouse that Bitcoin. So pretty cool, is it not? It is. BTC currently like 104.7 or 104.8, 104.7. The percent supply on exchanges has dropped to near 7-year lows following this kind of trend downward as people are taking Bitcoin off exchanges. The peak occurred around March of 2020 when over 17.2% of the Bitcoin supply was held on exchanges. Since then, over 6% of the supply was, or roughly 1.26 million Bitcoin, has been withdrawn from exchanges and exchange wallets. Bitcoin's hodling, their holding rate, has risen to a 2-year high. BTC investors are holding onto their coins at the highest level in over 2 years. I think some of that is when you take, borrowing, get your Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin gets wrapped up in some kind of smart contract or some scenario like that. I think that's part of it. It's got to be part of it, right? But anyway, the ratio, which measures the volume of Bitcoin flowing to exchanges relative to on-chain network activity, has fallen to its lowest reading since early 2023, and this signals subdued exchange deposits despite rising prices, meaning people aren't going to the exchange to sell their stuff, or they're finding other ways to do it. As of early June, the 30-day moving average for the ratio sits near 1.2, well below its 365-day average, and approaching 1. So historically, low levels like this have marked periods of strong conviction among long-term holders, with investors preferring cold storage versus trading. Interesting indeed. Anyway, this reduces the available supply, fewer coins for sale. If demand is consistent, number go up. Small e economics, bro, because math. So even as we're near all-time highs, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, it means something, but it doesn't. Just because we're near all-time highs doesn't mean people start clutching their pearls like, oh, I can't buy any. Of course you can buy. You will always be buying. People will be looking back when Bitcoin's 280K. They'll be like, oh man, I wish I could get me some of that, some of that 110K Bitcoin. They're like, man, those are the days. Those are the days that we'll look back fondly. Oh, those are the days. Remember the 110K Bitcoin days? Yeah. It was cheap back then. Those are the cheap days of Bitcoin. Now we're $460,000 Bitcoin. Oh, yeah. Pretty soon it'll be like, oh yeah, you got a Bitcoin. You have a Bitcoin? What are you, rich? Yeah. I remember, and then you're gonna have people telling you, oh dude, I was gonna buy Bitcoin when it was like 300,000. I was gonna buy some, but my phone didn't work that day. Oh, it didn't work that day, huh? You couldn't get into Coinbase. No, man, I was gonna do it, and then I had a call and some stuff happened. My ex-girlfriend, she's a guy now, and so went through that whole thing. Yeah. So okay, great, cool. Yeah, but you didn't buy Bitcoin, did you? Nope. So you're okay. Good luck. Your shift starts. Go on. Your shift starts. Anyway, yeah, man. It looks like institutional custodians are replacing crypto exchanges. The rise of institutional custody solutions is another major factor behind all of this decreasing supply. So instead of public exchanges, large financial institutions like BlackRock and Fidelity, Franklin Templeton are offering third-party custody scenarios. Coinbase Prime, for example, reported over $212 billion in assets under custody in quarter one. driven by inflows from ETF issuers, corporations, high net worth individuals. You know, even as an individual, you can go park your stuff over at Coinbase Prime. Do you guys know that? Yep. Anyway, kind of cool. Kind of cool. Anyway, yeah, there we go. So, kind of interesting. That's where we are. I don't know what, I don't know. I think the big moment will be when there's less than 1 million Bitcoin left on exchanges. When there's less than 1 million Bitcoin left, then people are going to shit their pants. And I think it's going to be like, that will create a move in and of itself. So we'll see. How safe is Coinbase Prime? Pretty safe. They do air gapped cold storage and all sorts of cool like secret spy shit. Like even the Mission Impossible team that's still left, not the ones that died in the last movie, but whoever's left, they couldn't probably get into Coinbase Prime, or at least to those tokens. They probably do all sorts of other stuff, because apparently all you have to do is pay some Indian call center worker $14 and he'll just start taking screenshots of all the client data and send them. You know, that's what happened, right? Surprise, surprise, Coinbase. You hire a fucking Indian call center, which is where the word bamboozle came from. God damn, man. This is common sense, bro. If Coinbase was going to get in the pizza business, yes, go hire Italians. But don't go borrow from Italians, because I'm guessing that those rates are not good. Like, come on, man. God damn. I complained all the time. I'm like, dude, when you say there's a problem with my account and someone from an Indian call center calls me from Coinbase, I just tell you to go fuck yourself, because it sounds like a scam. Even if it's not, nothing against Indians, but your country pulls more fucking scams than North Korea. So I'm sorry for your luck. You know what? Stop walking around in fucking open-toed shoes with garbage all over the place. Convince me that you're not trying to steal my shit. And every time I think, oh, you know what? I'm being intolerant. I'm being a dick. Then this crap happens. They think the estimated damage between $250 and $400 million. Why? Because you outsourced to the country that created the term bamboozle, you dummies. Like, god damn. Like, I don't think any other country on earth has a bigger, more robust reputation for bullshit and scams than Indian call centers. Is there a single one? Is there a country anywhere where the minute you hear their voice, you go, oh, fuck, this is a scam? None. The only thing that's close is the 2 Russian rule, where if you have 2 Russians in your company, they're going to steal from you. Like, guaranteed, 100%, they're taking your shit. Bamboozle is a fun word. It's fun to say it. Bamboozle. It is a term for the markets. Anyway, let's go behind the wall. We've talked about the supply shock. We talked about all these other marginally relevant things. Let's go behind the wall and we still haven't figured out a name for it. Options corner. Options Thursday. Options. No, we're gonna workshop it. Anyway, yeah. So let me just take this little banner off of here. Bam. Ooh, we do another one. Let's say, here we go. We'll do this one. Bam. Yeah. Weekly income from option decay and volatility dislocation. That's what we're going to do behind the wall.
Going behind the proverbial wall now to continue the broadcast privately for the digital investors and digital private clients. If you'd like to join us, simply go to nickblacknext.com and subscribe to one of our plans and immediately take advantage of our library of tools, tactics, and information. It's all designed to help you learn, grow, and manage your portfolio like a pro. Join us now.
You know what I'm realizing? I can cut off some, but I can't cut off all of these because I don't think the other platform here. I'm going to nuke LinkedIn. I'm going to nuke that one. I'm going to nuke Twitch. Okay. I'm going to nuke Rumble. However, I'm going to leave this one for now on YouTube because I don't see the other outlet for DI. Meaning, I don't want to click the button and then bounce everyone out. I don't want to do that. So we'll just quietly proceed from here. And then I'll get it fixed. I'll get it fixed for next week. I'll make sure that it's going in the DI room. I think when you first set up the stream, it's got to be set up to go into that room, which it was not. So we're going to get to it. We'll get to it. But for now, I'm just going to leave the stream the way it is. Okay. You got kicked off of Thinkorswim. What? After a week? Well, did you do that? I mean, they may charge you. That's what you meant. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Anyway, in our live Telegram chat, which you guys can't see unless you're we have a live Telegram chat for the options group, for that group of individuals. And so that stuff, I post trades and all that kind of stuff in the digital private client group, and then with the options group. It's a private info only chat. There's no links, so you can't get bamboozled. You can't get bamboozled. Let's see. How did you get ripped off? Well, I don't think they got ripped off. I think maybe that Thinkorswim may have been free in the past, and maybe it's not free now. You can't find out where to sign up for Thinkorswim? Or what? What say you? I don't know where the link is actually to sign up for the options thing. I thought there was going to be one on the main page. Let me see. I guess I'm surprised that there's not. You'd think there'd be like a little button, like options button. Where would a button be? If I was a button, where would a button be? Well, you know what I'll do? I will put a link somewhere in the information on the video. Yeah. You know what? I could text Brandon. I could say, hey, send me a link, guy. Let's see. Is there a link for the options program? Can't find it on website. Bam. Okay. You got an email. Yeah, but it should still be on the website. Should still be there. It should still be easy to get a hold of. Okay. Let's Q&A it. Let me pull up ETH A options. Okay, we got our contracts here. Yay. Calls and puts. Nope, we really just need the puts. Unless you got put in. This is all that's going to be important right now. These two. Okay. Let me make sure I've got up. Okay. Thinkorswim through Charles Schwab. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have indirect access to Thinkorswim. So I would use it. Paper trading is good. Paper trading is wise. All right. If you're continually selling puts, is it possible for the asset appreciation to outpace the amount of contracts you have the ability to? What do you mean? If you're selling puts, you sold them, then they're out there as open interest. I mean, you sold them, they exist. I guess I'm not sure what you're meaning, Chris. If you're continually selling a put, is it possible for the asset appreciation, so the price goes up, to outpace the amount of contracts you have the ability to, are you saying at the end of the contract to purchase them back? No, it doesn't mean, and if the price of the asset went up, if it appreciates, they would expire worthless, even if you didn't buy them back. So you can buy them back or not. But no, the asset appreciating doesn't affect whether or not you can buy them back. Because if you sold them, they're out there. Waiting to be repurchased or to expire worthless, either one. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. To make more capital to purchase. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Yeah. So when I'm on a day like today, that's been real wacky. I'm kind of thinking, okay, my goal is to mine theta. I'm basically selling people time, right? You're selling people milk. If you were selling people milk today that would expire tomorrow, you would think there's probably not a lot of value in that milk. But that's what about 90 to 92, 93% of all these option contracts, they're very close to expiring worthless. Some of them are in the money, most of them are not. So when there's other clever little ways you can attack a day like today. Some of the things I was looking at is like, okay, what if I took and actually sold stuff for tomorrow just to mine that last day of theta? Sometimes I look and see if there's opportunities for stuff like that. And when the price is all over the place and all wonky, like it has been the last few days, there's opportunities for that. So like the 1950 right now is 21 and 29 cents. You say, okay, what's the underlying asset price? 1965. So that's 15 cents out of the money, and they're still paying 21 to 29 cents. So probably get in the middle, 24, 25 cents on that. I mean, that's pretty good for a day. And so that 24 and 25 cents, what does that translate to? Well, compare that to IBIT, which costs 3 times as much. So you can sell 3 times as many contracts for the same amount of money in your account, right? So if you had enough money to sell 1 contract of IBIT, you have enough money to sell a little bit more than 3 contracts of ETH-A. Again, a little bit wider spreads because the market is a little bit less liquid. It's a little gooier. But I mean, it's a lot less liquid right now, but your returns are 3 times as much. 3 times. Meaning you could sell further out of the money, safer, and still have the same or better returns than doing the same thing in IBIT. So when you're looking at both those, now you might say, look, I don't want to get stuck in ETH-A. I don't like that scenario. I'd rather, if I'm going to get stuck in something, I want to get stuck in IBIT, in which case that's fine. IBIT is your play. Yeah. Let's see. So I can do the options trading program. We need to do portfolio analysis to get your deep and detailed analysis of coins to exit, like Filecoin, and which ones to trim back. I mean, I already told you that none of that has changed. I mean, we can talk about that tomorrow, obviously, but none of that has changed. I mean, we've already reduced the portfolio to 6 or 7 assets. I mean, I can tell you that the things that I'm sitting in is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Sui, Filecoin. Oh, dang it. Oh, we got a link. Let me see. That's the one you need logged in. Oh, okay. Anyway, he's going to put a link. He's going to do a link on the homepage today. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm getting an error on it when I click on it. Okay, I'm not going to put that link out there because it's just going to get an error since I'm getting an error. But we'll have it later. It'll be up later. He's working on that. I didn't exit a bunch of coins for options. I'll tell you what. I was going to exit anyway, and that money got converted to wrapped stake Ethereum, then borrowed against, then exited into options. And that was, no. I didn't say I was exiting Filecoin there was two parts to that. It wasn't exit Filecoin to go play options. It was sell some Filecoin to buy Ondo to get those positions similar. I wasn't exiting Filecoin. I have a lot of Filecoin still. I'm not exiting it. Hi, kitty. She's so fluffy. Yeah, this wasn't an exit. You got to all the words, Green. You need all the words. No, I wanted to have an Ondo position. I don't have much of one, and I thought, when Filecoin gets above 3, I'm going to trim some of my Filecoin to build an Ondo position. That's all. I certainly haven't given up on Filecoin. I just think we might be probably might still be too early. So we'll see. Let's see. Guru, ain't no gurus here. Say you have 10K that you're already allocating towards selling IBIT and ETH A. What percentage dry powder do you hold back to potentially roll a sold put position? No, that's not how it works. You don't have to hold back cash to buy back a contract. If they've locked. Okay, you don't need 2 piles of money, I guess is what I'm saying, Joe Mama. It's one pile of money. You have the pile of money. You can sell every single dollar of that. You can sell that many contracts. If you're buying them back for the same or a lesser price, you don't need extra money to do that. Does that make sense? You don't need money on the sidelines. They've credited you the premium, but the premium's not in your account. The premium is just basically being held there in a bubble. So you don't have access to that premium until those contracts are settled. Does that make sense? So you sell it. Now, if you get executed or early executed or they push you into the asset, yes, you then have access to that cash, but you don't actually have access to that cash. So you sell the puts, they give you the premium. The premium goes and gets put in a bubble right here. And the days go by. Now, when you buy it back, you're buying it back from this net credit. This bubble is a credit to your account of $1,000 or $5,000 or $280, whatever. That credit is your pool that you're buying back from or rolling. So either way, as long as you're going into a net credit situation, or as long as you made or broke even, then that pool, that bubble of cash that was on hold is just redeployed to buy the contracts back. Bam. Bam. Yeah, I hope that kind of explains it. Yeah, you don't need like a second pile of cash to do it. In spot markets, you do, because in spot markets, like the way Ledger X worked, you could sell contracts, take the cash, immediately redeploy it, sell more contracts, take the cash, immediately redeploy it, and you could like layer it like that. But then you would have to unlayer it too. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the money's there. You have a credit. The credit, it's basically you have a check, but you can't cash the check until after those contracts are already sorted. Ooh, we got a non-member link. Okay, let me see. Let me see how I would copy it. Let me see. Maybe I can text it to myself. Can you share more? Let me see if I can share it. Share it? That's not working. Shiza. Let me go here. Uh-oh. That's weird. What's going on? Okay, let me text it myself. Copy. I'm sending me a text so that I can get this link. This is a very low-tech way to do this, but sometimes low tech is easy. It's easier. Okay. Let me click on it. Okay, now. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me go back here. Let me go back here. Bam. So, yeah, it is that. Yay. And actually, I can pin it. And if I pin it, oh wait, I don't want to ban the user. That's me. That's weird. my only options. That is so weird. My only options yesterday, I could pin comments. Now I cannot. It only says delete comment or put user in timeout. Oh man, that's some bullshit. I used to be able to pin comments. I guess they really take away our ability to pin some comments. That's some bullshit. Anyway, I would have happily pinned this comment for you, but apparently pinning is gone. Do I have a link for the members? Yes, but that's a different one, and I'm not going to go through that whole thing. Let's see. What would be the easiest way to get that? Well, it doesn't work. Let me see. Copy. Let me see if I can. It just shows us an error message. I don't know if an error message is going to do you any good, but maybe it won't give you an error message. Maybe for you, it will give you something that's not an error message. Let's see. What happens? Yeah, I just get an error. Here. This is the one. I don't know if it's going to work. Maybe it will, and maybe I'm just getting an error message because I'm not logged in. Anyway, that should be the member one. Okay. So let's tackle any more options questions. Again, so in the future, we'll do this. We'll do half the show normal and then half the show options. What did we say? Options? Somebody came up with a good one. Thursday option. Oh, who is it that came up with a good Thursday thing? Today is the anniversary of the U.S. going off the gold standard in 1933. Wait. The first exiting of the gold standard. That's funny. Yeah, it didn't work then. Didn't work in the 60s. Didn't work in 1972. Doesn't work now. Let's see. When you say you got out of the trade, does that tell me the trade expired, or you put that order in to exit the trade before it expired? If I got out of the trade and it's during market hours, that means I exited. I can buy the contract back. Okay, so if I sold the contract originally, I can buy it back, keep the difference. I can get early executed. Someone can force me. They can forcibly put me in, which is great because then I can sell a call immediately. Or I can have I can wait until after Friday, after expiration, and I will either get put into the asset, or the asset would expire worthless. So those are the ways you could get out. Let's see. Question. Are you saying that there is a situation where you can participate in the options without having money in the account? No. You have to have money because you can't sell something to someone unless you have the money to be put into it. I mean, you can practice. You can practice options hours. Yes. Oh, like office hours. Ah, that's good. I don't know why it didn't stick with me. Options hours. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get it. All right. Yeah, you need money. But yeah, you can paper trade for free, and that's good. All right. Cool. So yeah, options hours. That sounds good. Options hours. But what we're doing, the whole point of all this is to harvest theta, right? There is a volatility dislocation, and there is a time dislocation. We are selling people 168 hours of insurance. But when they go to open the envelope, they're getting 32 hours of insurance. That's good. As a seller, you're selling a bunch of shit that they can't ever cash in. You're selling them a Ferrari, you're delivering a Buick. And they're like, what the fuck? And you're like, yeah, that's right. Sorry, because math. You don't like it? Open a casino. Otherwise, keep degenning. Let's see, if you buy a put option and immediately want to sell another put, can you, or is there a waiting period? No, you can sell it. There are pattern day trading rules that may affect options positions. I don't know. I'd have to look and to see. I know that if you go in, out, and in the same asset, on the same calendar day, in, out, in, 3 times, then that would be a pattern day trading violation. It doesn't mean anything, but it does it changes what margin they give you. That's right. It changes your margin. But yeah, pattern day trading doesn't mean shit because we don't have margin unless you're in one of those rare circumstances I think Schwab and maybe Fidelity and maybe Interactive Brokers have some marginability for these assets, but I certainly don't through E-Trade. I don't have, there's zero. Like, they're like, nope. I'm like, after hours, nope. I'm like, cool, line of credit, no. I'm like, anything? They're like, nope. You got nothing. All you can do is give us fees. That's all you do. I'm like, shit. Which is fine. Yeah, but the pattern day trading violations are in, out, and in. 3 trades of the same asset in the same calendar day. And I think you can get 3 of those violations before you become what's known as a pattern day trader. And pattern day traders fall under different holding requirements, especially or specifically if you use margin. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. Selling a put deep into money. Is there a risk of being called prior to expiration? Well, you would hope. You would hope. Because I sell puts in the money. And if I get called out, or not called out, if I get put in, because you wouldn't be called out, right? If you're selling a put, you'd be put in. If you got put in prior to expiration, you get the full premium. You don't have to wait for shit. You get all that time premium for free. So all those days that were left, you just pocket that shit. Then what do? You sell a call against it. If they're going to put you in, then you got a bunch of premium for free. And remember, if you sold deep in the money, they just gave you a lot of premium because those are expensive. They paid you to go over. Take it, bro. That's the best thing that could happen to you. You beg for that. I go to sleep hoping that will happen. I hope 2 things. I hope a bunch of strippers will show up, and I hope that someone will early put me into a bunch of contracts. None of those things has occurred yet, by the way. Neither of those, which is weird because you think that the first one would have happened. Nope. Still no strippers. Still no early. Still no early being put early execution. Yeah, it hasn't happened much. I never saw it. I've never actually seen it happen. I know that there may be scenarios where it would happen, but I don't even know anybody that's been early put or early called on something. Because remember, when someone's buying these options, whether it's puts or calls, they're buying time. That's the thing that they're buying. If they're forcibly putting you or forcibly calling you out of something, they're surrendering the time that they paid for, and they're not getting that money back. You got that money. You got forcibly put, you immediately fire off a call against it. If you got forcibly called, you're in cash. You immediately sell puts. You just double dipped. Shit, I hope I get put. Hope. Beg for it. I worship the Dark Lord Beelzebub, begging for it. Still no early puts, still no strippers. All right. Let's see. In Schwab, they give you margin if you want to do more advanced trading, but if you make sure you don't use it, there should be. Well, you'll see margin. Listen, you'll see marginability in the accounts. You'll see a margin, but you can't use that on most platforms. Most, and it's a little bit different. I know that somebody I know was like, hey, on mine, they let me do 30% loan to value. But on most, these specific assets, the Ethereum and the Bitcoin ETFs are not marginable. On those specific ones, those are not marginable. Yeah. Let's see. Did we nail it? I think we nailed it. I think we pretty much nailed it. We got Chris's. We got Drooks. We got the Doc. I think we got everything. Isn't that right? Strippers never show up. They never show up. I mean, I guess if you merged your trading office with a strip club, of course, you'd also have to have a nursery for all the kids, right? Because strippers got babies. Anyway, babies got babies. Am I right? Okay. Let's see. If we don't have any more questions, well, I'll go ahead and knock it out. Let me see. How do we pay the $1,500 through MetaMask with the USDC in MetaMask account? Do we need to contact you or Brandon? No, I think when you do it, I mean, you can contact Brandon if you want him to kind of walk you through it, but I think you just do it and it's automatic. It's just like your membership. I think it's just done. When you do it, it's done. Yeah. Let's see. I hired a stripper for the colleague's 40th birthday. Oh man, that's crazy. Can you imagine? I would get, man, if I ever have to hire one, I don't even know where you go to hire a stripper. Is there like a phone line for calling like mobile strippers? Is that like a thing? But anyway, is there an Airbnb of strippers? I don't know. But if there was, and you hired one, I would get the messiest version of a stripper. And that's what my friends are getting for their birthday. Just the messiest thing. Just, it's going to be nothing but just palpable, like so much. The moment, the anticlimax when that thing gets in the front door is going to be, you could be cut it with a chainsaw. I'm like, sorry, well, you're already in the seat, bro. This is on you. I'm like, uh-oh. Yep, gonna need some. And I'm also gonna have a paramedic for the trauma that's gonna occur from that situation. Anyway, okay. Let's call it a day. We'll be back tomorrow. And Green, if you want, we'll look at the portfolio again, make sure that everybody is clear on what they're holding, what they do and don't want to hold and all that. But remember, at the end of the day, it's got to be stuff that you guys want to hold. There may be, I'm sure there's going to be assets that you guys like and that you think, oh, this thing's got a great future and blah, blah, blah. And it may, but it might not be something that I or Brandon doesn't like. That doesn't mean we're not telling you own it, don't own it. Just know what you own so that you can sleep at night, so that you're not miserable because some weird news thing came out or Trump tweeted weird or Elizabeth Warren got on her fucking high horse again and all of a sudden your shit's down 48%. And you get liquidated and all the exchanges are locked out. I had a friend who just went through that. Well, he went through that a few years ago, but he had a bunch of stuff and it was a little bit leveraged and all the exchanges were locked down. He lost a lot. So there can be technical breakdowns in stuff also. You just have to be very careful. That's why you always be very, very, very careful with leverage. Careful with the leverage. All right. Anyway, if you want to join us, the options group, it's pretty cool. So you get, basically what you get is you get real time where the portfolio is at all the time. Like I usually post it in the morning and in the evening. This is the state of the portfolio. Like I will go here in about 10 minutes and I will post the state of the portfolio. Okay, so there should be buttons now on the homepage. Ooh, should we look? This is fun. Oh, very exciting. Very exciting. Ooh, members options program, non-members options program bundle. Bam. Look at that. Buttons. If I was Brandon, I would have made the buttons a different color than the background. Just me. You know what? And I'm not a UI guy. I don't know about button colors. I don't know a button for my butthole, but I can tell you this. I would probably Or like I'll put an arrow, like a green arrow. I don't know, just one guy talking. But anyway, yes, they exist now. They exist. But anyway, yeah. So what we do is we do just about every day, 1 or 2 times a day. We try to also mark the market, like when Ethereum closes. Hey, this is what the price was. This is what the price of ETH A is around, because you kind of want to track those things from when the market closes at the end of the day to when it opens in the beginning of the next day. And you can see, again, some time decay and things like that. It gives you an idea what you should expect on the next day, even when you're watching trading throughout the night or whatever, if you're like a DGen like me. The other thing is, there's a lot more of the thought process of the trades. So this is what I'm looking at. This is what the theta decay is. This is what makes sense to me. I'm looking at rolling this one versus buying this one back. I'm going to be selling this one and this one. So you get, and everything's real time. Like if I'm looking at stuff and I'm thinking about stuff, I send a message into that Telegram group so that group can at least be thinking or at least seeing it the way I'm thinking. Doesn't mean, you're going to do whatever you're going to do, but at least you go, well, he did this. This is, and I also show you the full account, meaning all the money in the account. So you guys know, this is what was made. This is what we, by doing this strategy, we made this percent this week exactly. And this much actual money was added to the account and all that. So it's like the full we drop our proverbial pants on that. Yeah, so there you go. In the email, there were different colors. God damn it. See? God damn it. Get them on these buttons. Okay. Do you respond to our thought process on trades? It's that chat is a one-way chat, because I'm very on Telegram. You have to be hyper vigilant. You have to be very, very hyper vigilant about links and stuff. I'm like not even putting links. If I have something I want to say, I kind of like copy and paste it. So we may get to that probably for the first couple weeks. It's going to be an info only chat where it's just one direction. And then we'll see. We may be able to open it up. But again, I don't want too much clutter in that Telegram group either, because I just want it to be like, when you guys see something, it means it's either this is what I'm thinking or this just happened. And you can always, Chris, you can always ask me thought process stuff whenever you want. And, you know, you guys can DM me and things like that. Like on Telegram, if you have like a question like, hey, I was thinking this, does that sound stupid? DM me and I'll be like, yes, that sounds stupid. There you go. All right, cool. Let's call it a day. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything my poor and solid drunk starting on meth grandmother or Brandon wouldn't do. I don't know what the weather is down there. It's kind of cloudy here, but my buddies are in town. So we're going to go gym it up, coffee it up, sauna it up, spa it up. We're just going to do that kind of stuff because we fancy.